Seems it's loading. Hi guys, hopefully you can see us. So one more time guys, I'm sorry. This is the first time we are live, so and it's terrible weather down here in Slovakia. So once again, happy to have Lamonster on the line, and hopefully I don't have to introduce Lamon. I mean, this person 5 years ago when I have started my YouTube channel, guys from BRP told me like what I'm trying to achieve, and actually I told them like I would like to be something like a small Lamonster, you know, like I would like to be known around. And I'm not licking your ass, Lamon. It's just like it is what it is. So Lamonster is everything that aftermarket parts are about for Can-Am Spyder and RYKER these days. So whatever you like, whatever goodies you would like to have on your Spyder, definitely check lamonstergarage.com. So Lamonster, welcome to the show.
Good to be here. Technology is amazing.
Yeah, technology is amazing. I think it went pretty far during these COVID days.
Yeah.
All right. So what's today's show about is that I would like to, tell people a little bit more about Lamonster, not only about business, but to know you a little bit better, you know. So if you can tell us how it all started, why motorbikes, and how the Lamonster garage has started.
Okay. Well, I had to take notes because I kind of dripped off a little bit here, but according to my mom, I've been pretty much taking things apart ever since I got them. She said something about my first tricycle that I got for Christmas. They went out in the backyard to see how I was doing with it, and I had the handlebars and the wheels pulled off. So I was always into modifying things and taking things apart, see how they work, and that's kind of in my DNA, I guess. I started a welding business. I was an iron worker for many years, and started a welding business in San Diego in 1986 as Noah's Arc Welding, and did that for about 16 years. And about 15 years into it, I had a pretty severe accident. I had third-degree burns on my neck, and basically should have died, but I didn't. But it did get me thinking about the rest of my career and what I was going to do, and come to realize that I didn't know a whole lot of old welders, and maybe I had to think about something else to do. And that's kind of how I got into the internet thing. I had bought a Honda Valkyrie in I guess it was 96. It was a 97 Valkyrie, and I had Harleys from before that. And
give me a second, because I'm very well prepared, man. I think I know about you more than you know about yourself, man.
Oh, is that all right?
Where it is? Your first bike, right? It was the Harley, you said. It was something like this?
Yeah, that's an FXR. It was similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, guys. I still don't know how this works on a live stream, so I need to show pictures. And actually, you have posted what was the name? Biohazard was the Valkyrie thing.
It was a Honda Valkyrie. Was my first kind of custom parts and stuff for that. I worked with a company called Magna Charger, building a supercharger for it. And
so you've been working there.
Yep. Yeah.
So this is the bike, and if you are on a Lamonster, like if you're following Lamont, guys, I need to show it like this. This is when you won a trophy, and in that article, yeah.
That's actually M109 on that one. Yeah.
Okay, and you said because it has a NOS on the side,
right?
and And you said you would like to achieve the record of the, like, towing a trailer or something. Did it happen? Like,
The world's fastest trailer is what I was going for.
did it happen?
It's a long story, but I was with Baja Ron, a good friend of mine. We've been friends since 1980. And we were out in the middle of the desert getting on an on-ramp, and things were just right. And I just wanted to see how fast that bike would go. And I think it was 152 miles an hour towing that trailer is where I topped out. That's what the top speed of the GPS showed. And that's when I realized that the fastest official record was, I think, 139. And that was on a guy with a BMW towing a trailer.
Okay.
So John from Bush Tech is the one that provided that trailer for me. And I said, John, I want to set a record with the Bush Tech trailer, and this is what I want to do. And so we kicked it around, and he was pretty thrilled about that. And I rode that thing everywhere I went. I had a trailer on the back, and I never did officially set the record. I didn't. Life got in the way time wise, but I know I could have definitely set it. Probably could still set it today if nobody's crazy enough to go out there and do it. But.
Now, let me ask you, because I'm crazy dude, right? And America, it's everything about drag racing, so I understand the NAS thing. Just highly hypothetically, is it possible to put NAS on the Spyder? Would it have any effect?
Well, you can. The thing about modifying motorcycles, and this is what I found out with the Valkyrie, with the 109, and of course I wound up with the Boss Haas and V8 choppers, 500 horsepower motorcycles. But anytime you introduce NAS into any kind of motor, you really have to be careful because it's really good at grenading motors. Piston lands crack. Typically, you want to decrease the compression.
Mm-hmm.
There's what's called a wet shot and a dry shot. On that 109, I had a 40 horse dry shot on it. So basically, I had a computer that gave me more fuel as the NOS was entered into the cylinder, and the compression was okay at 40 horse. But if I went any more than that, I was risking blowing out the lands and the pistons.
Okay. Okay. I have a couple of more pictures here. This is like, I think like this is 2 years old, right? Like, let me show it to you first. So.
Yeah, that's all with nitrous, and that's kind of the bike that really started my whole Lamonster career. I just started customizing stuff the way I wanted it. Yeah. Now that particular bike, it's got a supercharger on it. It's got a progressive nitrous system on it, which it would basically allow me to ramp up the nitrous instead of a hard hit. And I also had flamethrowers on it. I could shoot flames about 6 foot to the rear of me as I'm going down the road.
And you know who's gonna have flamethrower on an F3?
You gonna have that?
Yeah.
Well, be careful, because I wound up blowing that motor up playing with flamethrowers. So,
Really?
well, any of that stuff is
yeah, but like it's more of a
get expensive.
yeah, but I think like I'm a Can-Am fan by heart, and I'm doing this, and people can see it. I'm doing it because I'm really enthusiastic about it. But I still believe that the Rotex, well, the best thing on the Spyder is the engine itself, I guess. I really strongly believe in that. I've been in that factory. We are so lucky that we have a factory actually in Austria, which is like 300 kilometers. They are building the Rotex engines there. And just tiny part of it goes to Spyders. Remaining parts goes to BMWs and airplanes, the light ones, so that's a great thing. How? Okay, so then we are with this building of crazy bike that was super fast. And how did you end up with the Lamonster garage as we know it these days, like aftermarket parts for Spyders and RYKERs these
Well,
days?
I had just sold a custom VTX that I built. It was in all the magazines, and it was actually in Honda's Red Rider magazine. I did a total custom in that. Cut the frame, raked it out, built my own softail suspension, and really started a revolution as far as customizing the VTX. Well, I had sold that bike, and I had money burning a hole in my pocket, and I saw a YouTube video of the Spyder.
No, you
And
cannot see YouTube video. There was no YouTube at that
oh
age.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, 2007 is when they started showing it,
okay,
and
okay.
I was really intrigued by it. I thought for the money, and back then I think that the GS was only like $13,000 or something like that. They bumped it up another thousand a little bit later, but anyway, I put money on it, sight unseen,
Like
put $1,000 down on it. Yeah,
for
put
those
a
that
thousand
don't,
dollars
yeah.
down on it, and there was only two dealerships on the East Coast, and one of them was a company that sold chainsaws, and the other one was a dealership
Okay.
in Tampa. So it was kind of a high risk to sight unseen and to buy this thing. Um, I was down in Daytona for Biketoberfest, and I was asked to show my 109 for Suzuki, and I was in the tent there, and BRP was set up right next to me doing demos, and that's actually the first time I ever saw a Spyder, and met some of the sales team and told them that I planned on customizing one, and they basically told me, "Oh yeah, you can't do anything to these, everything's high tech," and I said, "Yeah, well, watch me." Uh, so anyway, I got mine in the end of December and rode it. I actually flew from Tennessee to Tampa to pick it up, and I rode it back about 600 miles. And I got to say, I never had buyer's remorse as much as I did when I bought that Spyder. I was about 200 miles into it. I thought, this thing is going to kill me. I was all over the road. I was trying to ride it like a motorcycle. It was just too fast to be on the road and uncontrollable uh, because I was doing everything wrong. And about 200 miles into the ride, I decided, this is more like my four wheeler than it is a motorcycle. So I started driving it like my four wheeler. And then it kind of clicked, and I started relaxing, and I kind of let the Spyder do its own thing. And on the way home there, I decided I want my feet right here, and that's when I designed the first part for the Spyder, and that was the highway brackets. And that basically one thing led to another. I built handlebar risers for the GS, and then really just started making it my own and things that I wanted. And really, all our parts at the Monster Garage, well, I won't say all of them, but the majority comes out of a need. Um,
Mhm.
it's a need from a writer's standpoint. I don't just look at what I can sell and think I can make a lot of money on it. I look at what I need for comfort or for to stand out in the crowd or whatever. And the parts are designed with that in mind. And if my customers want one, fine. If not, that's all right too.
Like, and I think whoever is like, there are a lot of people watching us, and guys, if you will have any questions, just write them because we will definitely, well, La Monster story, it's an amazing story, and we can talk for ages, but we will try to make a time to answer your questions. But like, the truth is that there are like, this aftermarket business is quite big these days. I mean, everybody's trying to cut piece of the cake, but you can definitely see like who is doing it for money and who is doing it for love. Like, if you are really using those parts, they look nice, they look like they're fulfilling whatever you need, and then you are selling it. That's the right way of doing it, you know, and that's the difference between companies. And again, I'm having you here not because we have agreed on whatever provisions or whatever.
Right.
I'm having you here because you're here for ages, man. And when I saw you first time, when I saw the Lamonster garage and all of the goodies that you have on the shop,
Yeah.
yeah, I spent some money with you, and it was hard. You never gave me good discounts, so and you know, so anyway,
Yeah. We're trying to be fair with everybody.
yeah. But I'm
Being in business, you know, we have an 8,000 square foot facility here. I have 5 employees.
hey, I was on the internet today, at least because we will get to the question when because I send you some questions. So guys, I know a little bit of the amongst the answers. That's fair to say, but we will get to the question. Like I ask you, like what was the largest or furthest distance somebody has visited you? And hi, Joanne.
Hi.
And today I went on the internet and I saw.
She's giving me hints.
Yeah, definitely. We will talk about that. That was a
Yeah.
big thing. That was a big thing. And but I went on a show on the internet and found like your store. So you have like 2 buildings there, and these bikes, these are the current ones, right?
Yeah, yes.
The red one is
That's
Jacobs, right?
Jacobs, and that's gone through a lot of changes since then. The middle one is Joan,
Yeah,
and then
that's
the
yours.
one on the far right is the very first F3 that I built for BRP to show in Daytona
Okay.
for the opening, basically.
I saw one picture. I mean, like, I know that picture brings probably a lot of memories for you personally, because it was on your Facebook page, and I don't want to really touch it in case you. The thing what I was like more about is I can see on this picture you are you're having the sprocket not covered, uh,
Right.
and it looks absolutely cool. I'm sorry if the picture is bringing any memories, because I was just reading something, but. The thing is, like, is it possible to ride without the cover on that sprocket?
Well, sure, you can, and basically, typically bike builders um, in the industry, you basically take everything off. You don't put things on. You take the guards off, take everything off. That just show off the parts, you know, and that's what I wanted to do on that particular build. Is just kind of show things off and get some color coordination, you know,
Yeah.
between the wheels, the sprocket, and the rear sprocket. So
Yeah,
that was,
and the bike, it's whole like it's a paintbrush, right? You're more like paintbrush guy or rep guy.
well, that particular one was that was a $6,000 paint job done by Curie's Hot Rod, which is
Okay,
actually right over here.
that's some serious money there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a serious paint. It was such a good paint job, everybody thought it was a wrap.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
kinda,
yeah, because my bike, it's for this season, it's in the rep studio, and you know, the paintbrush is not really my style because it can go really wrong, and it just looks super funny, and it's just at the end, it's complete opposite of what you're trying to achieve. So that one is really good one.
well, in the bike world, in a real bike show, uh, the paint is one of the big things of a custom bike. Uh, Nobody puts decals on a bike and show it at the rat's hole, you know, like that 109. That one you showed of my 109, that's one of the most prestigious shows in the world, actually,
Okay.
called the Rat's Hole. And I got first place in my class for heavy metric cruiser. And one of the defining things was I actually rode my bike to that show, which everybody else trailers to them, you know, so it's all pristine. I rode over 600 miles to show my bike, and I won it. And the judges took note of that. So That's one of the reasons I went with paint on the Spyder. It's definitely a lot faster to do a vinyl graphic. It looks great, but it's just not show quality for the type of shows that I wanted to present that at.
Yeah. And if you are getting to, actually, we will get to that Warrior Foundation thing because I think it's just, I don't want to go very fast through it because it's one hell of a achievement what you guys did. And I know that Road Warrior Foundation, especially in America, and guys, how you, how you respect people. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's about army and veterans and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was one hell of an achievement. So we will get to that. But if I'll go a little bit back to your GS, because it's curious for me because I started with the Spyders back in 2015 when I bought the F3. And what was the difference actually? Do you know what was the difference between the RS? They have started with RS, I guess. And then they went for GS and RSS.
GS was actually the first one.
Okay.
And then they called it an RS. And really, there wasn't a whole lot of different. The original GS was a manual transmission, and then they came out with a paddle shift after that. But I can't remember if the paddle shift was still a GS. Do you know if it was? Jacob? Yeah. Okay, for 1 year it was a paddle shift was still a GS, and then everything transitioned to RS.
Okay. But it was like the sitting was like regular bike, right? They just introduced like front kind of sitting position with ST, right?
It was more of a sport bike type posture. You were leaning more forward. You had more pressure on your hands. Some of the things that I made, the highway brackets, the risers, basically changed your posture and made it more comfortable for long distances. I was running a Goldwing club at the time I got my Spyder, and all the Goldwing guys says, "Well, you can't do any long distance on it. That's a bar hopper." So shortly after I got it where I wanted it, my longest day in a saddle was riding to South Dakota, and I did 1,050 miles on my GS Spyder, and still felt good, was comfortable. So I kind of showed all the Goldwing guys that, you know what, this is something you could go cross country.
But have you been like 100% comfortable that you are doing right thing? Because going from that crazy yellow bike, I have to show it again. I mean that was just sick, And have you been comfortable like in front of your friends coming with this, 2 wheels in front and like look at Lamont, like what is he riding? Like it must have been challenging, wasn't it?
Well, it's interesting. I don't really care what people think or their perception. Um, my wife Joan says, I'm the one that made Spyders cool, and I don't know if that's the case, but I did have a lot of followers that knew me from the V8 motorcycles, the 109s, the VTX, the Valkyrie. That one thing is common with all those guys. All those bikes are considered unique in the motorcycle world. They're not a cookie cutter Harley. They stepped out of the mold, and and to dare to be different and really don't care. That's kind of what the Spyder was to me. It was something different, and that's what first drew my attention to it. It was probably the slowest motorcycle that I've ever owned, but I didn't care. It was just fun to ride. It attracted more attention than any of my custom bikes. I literally would, have to add more time to go anywhere because somebody is going to talk to you about the Spyder, especially when they first came out. They were just so new. But the motorcycle guys, you know, I've got friends right now that one of them that I'm thinking of right now, a guy named Keith. I met him in Maggie Valley, and they were at an event out there, and he's a 109 guy, and I knew him from the forum I ran, but he says, "Oh, you're on a Spyder, huh?" I said, "Yeah, take it out." And he took it out, and guess what? He wound up buying one. So he still has a 109. He's got a B Max and a Spyder. So I think the group that I kind of relate to the most are okay with the Spyder just because they get it. You know, they understand that it's a different ride, and they're not trying to impress anybody. They're just trying to enjoy the.
Is
You know,
is it the same these days in America? Because like, especially with RYKER coming out, there are a lot of riders on the RYKER, and especially younger ones. Is it the same thing in America? Like people are stopping you and asking you what the hell you're riding on, or is it more like common and
oh
people are getting used to it?
yeah. It's I would say today most people are aware of the Spyder in some form. 'Cause it's got a, you know, I don't know how many are out there, but in 2015 at Spyder Fest, they built the 150,000th Spyder. So there's a lot out there. There's probably, I don't know, 300,000 or more Spyders. So there's, you know, it's made an impact. So it's not as crazy as it used to be, but it still draws attention. And you know,
Because I'm in your shoes, you know, like when I bought F3, there was probably like 20 Spyders in the whole country. We are a small country, we're like part of New York, only like, I don't know, like 4 million people. We are not riding horses anymore. We have cars and everything, so we cool, you know. But still, people have been asking a lot, and you have to be that type of person that you like to answer those questions, and but
yeah,
it's really joyful, you know.
yeah.
So
If you're not a people person, don't buy a
yeah,
Spyder.
yeah, and show off. You should be a little bit show off. Like,
Yeah, a little bit maybe. Yeah,
but the truth is actually because you have mentioned it as well. Like you was a little bit not scared, but respectful, I may say, to Spyder to first 200 miles. You know, when I
yeah.
bought the F3, I was more of a car dude. I used to have Elder Z4, you know, Cabrio and stuff. Out of nowhere, I bought Spyder from a paper, okay? And first, like 2 kilometers, I was ready to go back to dealership and tell them, like, take it back. It's just way too fast. I don't want to have it. I will kill myself, you know. So I know that feeling, man. It was.
Well, from our experience, the guys that have the most trouble with the Spyders are motorcycle guys. If you're a motorcycle guy and you're used to pulling a front brake and counter steering and the turns and you know all those habits that you build up through the years, you have to retune your mind when you get on a Spyder. People that typically have never ridden a motorcycle, they take to it a lot better than a motorcycle guy does, and that's why I think they've done so well is because one of the things people, you know, and I'm sure you've experienced this. People come up talk to you, and they'll say, you know, I could ride one of those, and they want to ride a motorcycle, but they don't feel confident.
Yeah.
But when they see that third wheel and you know, you don't have to put your feet down
You know,
and still have a great experience.
you know like another thing with Spyder, and this show is about you, not about me talking. So just very quick note, especially here in Eastern Europe, you know, post-Soviet country, we have a lot of potholes. Sometimes, you know, you have kids playing, so you're going over them and stuff like that. And you need three wheels, you know, because you never know what's going to happen behind the corner. So, and that's why I have Spyder. I don't want to go on a regular bike. Uh, that's just my comment. Lamont, tell me about that. that crazy project for and introduce it by yourself, because Joanne brought you the nice pictures and stuff. So can you show it to a camera,
Oh,
please?
okay. Yeah. Well, let's see if I can put this in here. This is a bike for the Road Warrior Foundation, and see if I can get
That's F3T, right?
Yeah, this is a F3T, and it was donated by BRP. And really, the Road Warrior Foundation, we met the guys in 2015 when we were debuting the F3. And these guys I have three boys, and two of them were in the Marine Corps and one in the Air Force. And I really felt like these guys were kind of like my boys. You know, they just had a special place in my heart. And we got to know them in Daytona, and we wanted to do something for them and with them. And BRP, obviously, they embraced them, and they've been big supporters through the years and giving them bikes for the guys to ride, and even gear. It's just been an amazing thing. Joan and I have been fortunate to do a few rides with them. But this particular bike was one that was donated to the Road Warriors, so they could auction it off and get some money for it for their next ride. And it's, for me, it's a very special bike, mainly because that particular bike I was building when I found out that I had cancer, liver cancer. This was September of 2018, and they actually picked up the bike during my rally. It was our Spyders in the Ozark rally when I got the phone call saying that I had tumors and I had issues. And shortly after that weekend, I got really sick and was hospitalized and almost died a couple times. But that particular bike, for whatever dumb reason, that was the reason I was hanging on. One of the reasons I was hanging on and fighting was because I thought about these road warriors and what the injuries they had been through. And I heard their stories, and I know about their operations, and I know how they were, just the stuff that these guys went through serving our country. And I had to be strong for them, just to I don't know. I wanted to have their strength, and I drew on their stories and where they are today because they got through those bad times, and it was a big deal for me. And we got a phone call, and I was still pretty sick. But yeah, I was in the emergency room, but found out that the bike had auctioned off at Barrett Jackson for $186,000. So, is that $186,000 Spyder? Well, technically it kind of is, but really it was all about the patriotism. And the guy that originally bought it, it ramped up to $100,000. And when he won it, he says, auction it again, send it off. So he gave it back to the foundation. And when it was all said and done, the total for the bike for that event was $186,000. It has actually since been re-gifted again to the Road Warriors and auctioned again. This time it brought it, I want to say $22,000, $26,000, more of what it's really worth. But that bike that particular bike brought in over $200,000.
That's amazing, man. That's
pretty amazing.
That's 200,000 times more than I ever did for somebody. So that's just amazing,
Yeah.
And so, is it on the road now? So somebody.
Yeah, actually, the guy that bought it it's even got a cooler story. The guy that bought it had bought the first Road Warrior bike. I think that's one That was the one we gave back. Right? Yeah, so I won that bike in a raffle on accident. And so I won the F3, and I knew when they raffled it, there was things that Craig and Steve wanted to do on it that never got done. So I customized it and gave it back to the Road Warriors, and then they auctioned it off again. The guy named Wayne Pauly is the one that bought that bike. Well, here we are, just months ago. Actually, I think it was last month. He wound up buying this other one too. So he's got two of the Road Warrior Foundation Spyders, which is pretty cool. And once again, he bought it because he's a patriot. He wanted to support the cause, and he's been on the rides with them. We were fortunate enough to ride with them. So it's kind of, it's a small inner circle, but it's a big family, a tight family. And I don't know, we feel real fortunate to be part of it.
I mean, a couple of comments here. First of all, you talk about everybody else, not yourself. So I have to ask for everybody. How are you feeling these days?
I feel all right. I mean, I come to work every day. I still have a bad liver. I need a transplant, and I do that when I feel it's right. With COVID and everything, I just don't feel like it's a good idea to go knock my immune system down to nothing and take that risk, especially when I am operating okay. I got one of the pills. One of the reasons I'm kind of scattered, I take one pill that's $3,000 a month, and what it's supposed to do is keep the ammonia out of my brain, because my liver's not doing a good job at it. So it's causing me to not be quite as sharp.
Oh, you're super sharp, man. You are sharper than most of us, so that's all fine. You know what?
I know that I'm not right. I fake it as good as I can. So,
I was shocked because I didn't know you before, but if I really imagine, like face, and not only about like aftermarket parts, but the picture that you have on a Spyder lovers, the forum, the Lamonster, and I think I will be speaking for everyone. Lamont is the face of Can-Am. Do whatever, think whatever. It's true, and I was shocked when I heard the story that what you're going through, and the thing is like, but Joanne, she replied to one of my questions like. I was asking people like, "What you riding? What's the stuff that you take with you?" And Joanne said like, "All I need is Lamonster," and that's kind of an answer to also like, who can fight the bloody fucking cancer? It's Lamont, So you will do it. Cross fingers and sending love. So and you got the support of the biggest and best community in the world, which is our Spyder community, because like this is why I fell in love with Spyders. It's not only about that machine, it's about the community, and you ask whatever question, people are so polite, they will answer to you. I maybe met like 3 idiots on Spyders during my whole 5 years, and I don't know if that's the same experience in US, but I think it is.
Yeah, for the most part, they are good people. But it's not just Spyder. Motorcycle people in general are just good people. I mean, I started social media networking in 1999 with the Honda Valkyrie. I had a club called the VRCC, the Valkyrie Riders Cruiser Club, and that club is still going today, and it has chapters all over the world. Some of the stories I can tell you, because of that stupid little club, it's just amazing. And it's motorcycle people, and it's same way with the 109, the Goldwing, the VTX, the V8 guys. All the clubs that I've been involved in, they become families. They become lifelong friends. And even when we move on to different bikes, we're still lifelong friends. We have stories that we'll be able to tell forever. So it's community is a big thing. It's been easier to create a community now with Facebook and
Oh yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's crazy.
well, and back when I first started, it wasn't so easy. I mean, it was kind of the reason I kind of got known is basically whenever I did anything technical, I would make a web page about it, and I'd do step by step on how to put glass pack mufflers on your Valkyrie.
Do you know that those pages still exist? Because I've been on a couple of them preparing for the show. They are pretty like eldish looking, but still a lot of infos there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It was the beginning. I mean, nobody knew what they were doing.
yeah.
I got to tell you, Martin, your videos are freaking awesome. They're very professional and they really a joy to ride. I know what it takes to do a video like that. I know you have hundreds, if not thousands, of hours producing them. Kudos to that.
Well,
My
thank you.
videos are one take. If I screw up, you're gonna see the screw up.
But you know what? People love it. I mean, like I've been watching a lot of your videos because they are very helpful. You just say it all, So if I need to fix something like my flashing lights or whatever, your videos are there, And we are actually getting, and we have like 15 minutes because we will take it only for 1 hour.
Okay.
There are some questions, and actually those questions are coming to direction where we wanted to go or where I wanted to go, because I have asked you a question that what are the 3 most amazing things you would put on every Spyder? And I don't know, do you remember what you have replied?
I don't.
You don't. Because there is a question about the laser alignment. I think the Ellen is asking this. And that's the thing I don't have here in Europe. And so can you tell a little bit more about it? Because I have heard only good things about the laser alignment, especially done by you, because it's not only like technical thing. You need to understand what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like anything. You can go out and buy the tools. I mean, I could buy a wood lathe and a miter saw and all that, but if you don't know how to use them, it doesn't do any good. And that we found out that at the beginning, when people were buying laser alignment tools in dealerships mostly, they didn't really know what they were doing. And I was fortunate to work with Rollo at first, and we kind of learned together, what needed to be done. One of the things they didn't even realize at the time is you got to have buds if you do a laser alignment, because you have to readjust the steering angle sensor and torque sensor. And if you don't do those things, you're going to wind up with a bike that's worse than what you started with. So all the computer all have to work together. And we've literally done thousands of alignments. And that's, as a Spyder owner, they come aligned from the factory and they're within their specifications, but they're not perfect. And some of them are actually way off, and I don't know why. But a good majority of them are way off. So what we do is we make them perfect. And the difference in the ride and handling characteristics is pretty huge. I mean, I've literally had people come and give me a big hug. And these are guys that thought their bike was fine. And then they rode it after I got done, and they just gave me a hug and said, I had no idea that my bike was supposed to handle like that.
And we are getting to the next question when I ask you, like, what is and I will beat it. I'm telling you, I will beat it. What is the furthest distance that anybody has come to visit Lamont, or going better said, Lamonster garage?
To the Lamonster garage? Well, we had a guy, was it the Mexico? Oh, yeah, that's right. We had people come here from Honduras, which I forgot about that. Yep, they rode their F3s from Honduras to come, and they came with a group.
It's going to be challenging, but But my big dream is to send the beast to the US, start in Boston, eat lobsters, and ride all the way through America, you know, and visit you guys. And that will make me the furthest, you know, distant customer joining and visiting and, you know, and
Well, that'd be
definitely
awesome.
I would love to do the laser alignment. I'm very sad we don't have it in Europe. We've been discussing together something. Maybe we'll be, because there is another question. You know, why I'm not selling Lamonster products in Europe? Because I have just opened my shop, and you can see it right over there. We've been discussing something with Lamont. We are cooking something, so stay tuned, guys. Hopefully we'll do something because Lamont and I'm always and only I will be selling things that I personally believe and that I personally want to put on my bike. And it's not because Lamont is on the line. I can easily say no, we are not going that direction, or I could avoid this question. But I love his products. I love his partners like Byron. So definitely, that's one thing actually for me, Lamont. I bought it from you guys, the sway bar, and for me, the sway bar is just. There are so many copies. There are copies on a market,
Yeah.
but staying with Byron or Baharon or whatever is
Baharan, yeah.
Baharon, that's the best thing for me. I started with that, and yeah, that's a top upgrade. What else is there that you would always put apart from laser alignment and sway
Well,
bar?
a sway bar. I mean, handling is a big thing on the Spider. If it handles good, you feel confident. We definitely laser alignment would be the first thing that for us we charge $100, and we actually if we put it on and put it on and check everything, and it looks like it's good. It's free. We don't charge anything. That's maybe happened a couple dozen times total. Uh, it just the odds are in our favor. We're going to need to correct it. The next thing would be the sway bar. That's the next budget thing you can do is to upgrade the sway bar and lengths. And the two things that are most important on that, if you ride two up, for sure I would add the Baharan sway bar. If you're an aggressive rider, for sure I'd add the Baharan sway bar, anti sway bar actually.
Yeah,
Fix. And
he just named it wrong. You know, everybody knows it as a sway bar, but
right, right. And then the next thing is the Elka suspension. I've actually been using Elka suspension since 2008, I believe, was when I first got to them. And we're actually the distributor for Elka, and we worked with John from the beginning. And they were the first ones to build a aftermarket suspension for the Spider, and they're the leaders in aftermarket
oh man,
suspension.
I would go for Elka, but it's so hard to get them in Europe. I saw this great news that you are like, because Elka has several stages, right, that you can go for.
Yeah,
And I'm Spider lover by heart, but those shocks are just terrible. You know, like the rear shock is just absolutely nightmare, and the front ones are just nightmare. So, you know, like you need. There is actually one question, Lamont. If you change your front shocks, will you lose your alignment?
no, and we weren't actually sure about that. So we did a before and after alignment after changing the suspension. It has no effect on the alignment. Um, so that's and the same thing with the sway bar and all that. Basically, on the laser alignment, the only time you have to redo a laser alignment is if your components start to wear out and you need to change them out. If you hit like a giant pothole and things don't seem right, chances are you bent something. That would be another reason to have the alignment checked. But basically, the alignment should be good unless you actually change them part or have some sort of accident. And tires have no effect on the alignment. Suspension has no effect on the.
Are you riding the new Kenda, or are you sticking with
Yeah, we no we have. the Kenda canines, we at the last homecoming, we knew that we talked to some engineers. We knew a new tire was coming in. We couldn't really say anything, but we knew that they had put a lot of work into it. They knew that the tires that they had were problematic. They were inconsistent as far as the build. I mean, if you just look at the weights that some of these tires need to balance them out, that'll give you an idea of how bad some of them are. And we've had tires where the new Kenda canine, where we didn't have to put any weight on them at all. They balanced right out. So it's definitely a lot better tire than it used to be. And mileage wise, they seem to be holding up about the same. I can't say that there's any big increase in them, but they handle good, they stop good, they shed water properly. They do all the things that tire is engineered for. And that's the thing you got to be careful. You know, we have some car tires that we have used in the past that we were confident with, but some of them are just not good for any kind of rain, traction.
Yeah, I had the Kumho Extra. It was just terrible in the rain. Cannot wait for these new Kendas. I just ordered like 20 of them or something. I'm just looking at them for the store. So they're cooked in America. It's quite difficult to get them, but I'm really looking forward to ride on those. And you know how it is with distance. Like there are several factors, like tire pressure, type of road, and stuff like that. So I'm always skeptical when somebody's talking about really like what they can get from tires. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's we see it all here. We're one of the few facilities that is dedicated towards Spyder. That's mainly what we work on here. I did get into. I bought a Rocket 3.
Oh yeah. I almost forgot, guys. Lamont, it's giving on us. Giving up. He bought just this one. It's a super cool bike. It's a Triumph Rocket. And that's something you start again doing same thing, right? You just making some few adjustments and placing it on a Lamonster garage store. So will we be seeing the same story? Like is Lamonster garage getting into Triumph motorbikes?
Pretty good in the Triumph market actually. Most of them are all European, but where our parts go, maybe we can set you up for Rocket parts because the shipping is the killing part for a lot of those guys. They'll buy a $60 part and they'll have $50 in shipping. It's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is. But yeah, we've done real good with the Rocket. The thing that has made the Lamonster work from day one is the bikes that we sell parts for are bikes that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
Ones that I love, and it's not hard for me to transition to doing things for them because I'm excited about them, and that excitement is somewhat contagious, and that's why we've done well. We are passionate about the product. We're not just retailers. We didn't even start off to be retailers. We're guys that love to ride and make our rides better for us, and that helps make it better for others. And some of the things that we do, we make things shorter stature riders. We'll make risers and different things to make it easier for people that are shorter to ride. So
do you do something for tall people?
You know what? The highway brackets is what we do for tall people, basically to stretch out.
Because like F3 was the first bike that I can fit on. That was the first one.
Well, quick story on that. When I was working with BRP and their R&D program, and I get to test a lot of the prototypes. One day, a couple of the execs came up to me. I was actually at the engineering building in Valcourt, And they said, we want to build a new Spyder, and we want it to be a cruiser type Spyder. And we would like to sit down with you and tell me what you think it should have. And so we sat down, we had a dinner, and we had a yellow pad and basically penciled out everything that I thought a cruising Spyder, how I would build it. And the end result was the F3. And one of the things that I really focused on was the ergonomics, and told them that, you need adjustable ergonomics. And I based that off of my boss house. My boss house had sliding controls to where you could put the feet wherever you wanted it. And it was unique to that particular bike. So BRP did their version of it. And then of course the handlebars that weren't fixed, different size handlebars, and being able to see the engine, and the main thing was sitting in the bike and not on the bike. So that was the one complaint I always had about the Spyder, is you felt like you were sitting on top of it. In a cruiser, you need to feel like you're sitting into the bike. So after riding a few of the prototypes, they all had code names and all that. But I remember walking into the boardroom, and they had a bunch of dealers in the boardroom. And after we all got the demo ride, one of the VP of marketing, he said, "Well, how did we do, Lamont?" And that was a pretty good feeling for me, because I know that they actually built that bike off of things that I had suggested.
You know what, Lamont? I thought I started to like you after this conversation, but hearing this story about you riding prototypes and stuff like that, I think I'm going backwards. And again, I'm just jealous and pissed and, typical.
But hey, it's not. I got to tell you, it's not easy to. The information that I had and they trusted me with. I mean, we're talking bikes 3 and 4 years out before production
Yeah.
that I knew about and had ridden. And I'd see all these internet things come up about, well, my dealer says this is it. And I would just want to tell them, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
This is what it's going to be like, but I had to wait, till it's released.
Yeah, that thing, like the UFit, I think it's called, right? It's an amazing thing, and that was actually the selling point for me, because I simply cannot fit on ST, neither RT, neither the new RT. It's still not comfortable enough for me. Last question, or one of the last. We are almost out of time. You and RYKER, tell me as a Spyder lover, what about you? Like,
Well, that's a bike that I haven't fell in love with as far as my riding style. I like to travel. I don't consider that a good travel bike, but as far as a hooligan bike that just get on and burn up tires and be obnoxious and just have a good time, it's a great bike, and especially at the price. They hit a price point that allowed a lot of people to get into that.
yeah,
Three.
the truth is that it attracts people, and those people that would never go to a three wheelers, maybe because they cannot afford F3 or RT, they will
Yeah.
change, and we will have more people in our community. So that's a great
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, bottom line is a lot of the RYKER guys we do see transitioning to F3s and even RTs, but mostly F3s. But it's a good entry level bike for sure.
And
And it's got a
especially
lot
in
of,
the US, it's great because the people has to reduce the power in Europe, because of the emissions. So I was riding, it was so slow. I was like, what's this bike about? And then they told me like 3 months later that the engine is, weak, and you need to click something in the program to get really a power and stuff. So
yeah.
anyway, Lamont, we can talk for ages, man.
Yeah.
A lot of
It's been fun.
stories.
I appreciate the invite to be on your first show, and I wish you success in your new venture. I know your videos will be killer, that's for sure. So,
Thank you, and definitely, guys, stay tuned. Visit lamonstergarage.com for goodies because summer season is coming, and it's always good, you know, to have something new on your bike. Visit MartinTheVlogger.com. I'm pretty sure we will do something with Lamont to have his stuff down in Europe because we will kill that expensive shipping. So definitely that. So stay tuned. Lamont, it was my pleasure. Greetings to Joan. Thank you very much for being patient with us. Enjoy your Saturday, guys. Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, still Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah.
Guys, have a
All
good
right,
one,
man.
guys. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.